Are there commentators I draw the most inspiration from? Sure. Yeah, I think that there's a lot to be learned from some folks on commentary, definitely. I think there's a lot of really good commentators. Maybe I would say Katana Prime. So, yeah, maybe KP, maybe Tasty Steve. Those are probably the two biggest examples. The reasons that I draw inspiration from them is that I think that they've done things really well that I don't think I was that great at. Steve has more energy than anybody. It's gotta be apparent if you just watch him, right? He has more energy than anybody, and that's real. He's not putting on a show when he does commentary or when he hosts some event or something. He's not putting on a show. That's just Steve. He's just an energetic guy, and he's great at bringing that across. I can get energetic, like I'm a former like college football frat guy hooligan who was definitely energetic at football games, in maybe not the most polite ways. So I did similar stuff at NHL games. I mean, I feel like that's who I am, and that's part of the personality that I wanted to bring across last year. But Steve brings it across on commentary in a way that nobody else does, in my view. I think he's unique in that respect, and I think it's hard to be unique in any single respect nowadays because there's a lot of really good commentators. So I take inspiration on Steve from that. I think that's super good. Katana Prime, I think what I would say is that I think he's fantastic at grounding the match in the game itself. The way he speaks is not just, I don't know, for example, he will not just say, like, Katana does the string and she attacks and, oh, she's -5 or whatever. Like, no, it is that she swings in her size and she, moves through the sea of blood to get over the starfish, and like he's constantly grounding you in the action where it is. And I never have done that. I've been exactly the opposite of that. I didn't notice the stage at all. It took me years to realize that in Third Strike's Chun-Li stage there was a table. How could you miss that? It's right there. But it literally took me years for somebody to point it out. That's more the side that I'm coming from. I didn't do that at all. So I have tried to take some inspiration from that as well. A lot of the other commentators are great, and it's not even my position that those are like the best commentators, although I think they are certainly among the best, but that they do things that I think that I haven't done well, and that's what I take inspiration from. So, not even a joke, King Vasuki. That is how I view this. I view a lot of similarities between commentary and fighting games. And I've been viewing it this way for so long that I think now other commentators, well, I mean, I've been talking with them about it for so long. I know that they view it the same way now. There's any number of things that are just like in fighting games. So yes, the idea of reversaling out of a situation, of being silent, of the co-commentator, feeling like it's their turn to talk constantly. The way to get through that is just barge on in. Don't, excuse me. I mean, if you're in person, you could be like, all right, I'm ready to come back. Like you could motion to them. We can't do that. It's not available. So get in there. That's kind of your option. But I view many things relating to commentary as fighting games. Speaking of how your commentary sets go with other commentators is talking about matchups. You're talking about your commentary matchups. I've been viewing it that way for many, many years, and I know that other commentators have adopted that idea. I mean, it's very useful for thinking about that, for thinking about how to improve your commentary with someone, for thinking about how to overcome issues that may be in your commentary with somebody else. The first time I thought about it that way, I think, was with Mike Ross. That's maybe I had already formed this idea by then, but the first time I remember like really thinking hard about it was a commentary set with Mike Ross where like he was saying so much silly stuff that I like adopted the silliness, but not in like a great way, not in like a let's tell hilarious jokes way. Well, I mean, we were messing around, but like anyway, I feel like I let myself get goaded into saying that Zangief versus Sagat is 5-5 in Street Fighter 4, and it's not. At no point was it 5-5. I do think that matchup got easier over the years, but it was never even. And I said that, and as soon as I said it, I was like, why did I say that? And later we got off commentary, and we went on Twitter, and people were like, why did David say that Zangief versus Sagat is 5-5? What is he talking about? Like, I saw people on Twitter saying that. And I was like, they're right. Why did I say that? So I started really thinking about this idea of matchup. And what is it about the Mike Ross matchup that, for me, felt like I needed to do something weird? Why did I feel like I got provoked into doing a real stupid jump, right? He was throwing fireballs, and I was like, the way to solve the fireball trap is to jump over. But that's like what the person throwing fireballs wants you to do. That is the springing of the trap. And I just got. And what was it about this matchup that made me get got? Why? So that's when I really began thinking about that. That was probably 2014. It was 2013 or 2014 is what I would guess. Anyway, I've been thinking about it like this for a long time, and I think that's been really productive to view it that way. Because although it's not a competition, it's not the same sense of matchups in how do I beat this person, because you're, in the end, it's a co-op run. It's not a competitive run, right? But you can still learn a lot of lessons from how you view matchups in fighting games. What strength does the co-commentator have? What weakness do they have? It's the opposite. Where should I add something that would allow the weakness of my co-commentator not to shine through? Where can I pull myself back a little bit when the co-commentator has a moment of strength? How do I continue to comport myself well in a matchup that maybe is uncomfortable for me? I don't know. It's been really productive. So anyway, it's something I've been thinking a lot about for a long time. The idea of essentially commentary as a fighting game match. So, do I feel there are other notable commentators who don't complement my style? I don't. I feel like I don't. I mean this in maybe. I don't mean this to be a jerk or full of myself, but I don't feel like I have bad matchups anymore. I feel that the style of commentary that I've created is more all around and is really open to being whatever I need to be. Last year, part of my goal in commentary was to help express my personality better, because I'm a pretty silly guy in general. And I didn't feel like I was getting that across really on commentary. Instead, I felt like that was specific to some matchups. I knew how to play matchups really well. If I knew that the co-commentator was going to be handling the jokes or the excitement, cool, I can get the information. What's plus on block? What's -5? Whatever. What's punch? That kind of stuff. How does this character work? Cool, I can handle that stuff. If instead they're the kind of person who wants to handle all that, cool. Yeah, I can tell jokes. That's fine. I can make up phrases. It's no big deal. So I felt like I was able to match up quite well, but without really having a distinct personality of my own in many cases. I felt too often that I was just kind of a chameleon who didn't have a David style. And last year I worked a lot on that, and I felt like I did do it. In fact, I felt like I did it so much that I kind of let some of what was previously something I was very comfortable with, the informational analytical style, I kind of let that go. I didn't do that quite as much because I was more focused on this sort of personality idea. And while I think that kind of needed to happen for me to get accustomed to it, now I want to have a better balance while also still having the ability to highlight one aspect of my style in whatever particular matchup I need. So, no, I mean, I felt like I had some bad matchups, but I haven't felt that I really do in quite a while at this point. The thing is, too, that not having bad matchups doesn't mean that I win every matchup, per se. I think there are other commentators who do particular things better than I do. I mentioned earlier that I think the two major examples of that are Katana Prime inputting little grounding features into the commentary. So in this instance here, we are watching Boxer versus Ibuki on Karen Kanzuki's stage. I think KP might talk about how she's going for whatever target chain underneath the Sakura trees, like something that is it. You're in this game. He's putting you in the game. I think he does that super well, and I need to improve on that still. And I think Tasty Steve has more energy than everybody. So I don't mean to say that I'm the best at any one particular thing, but I do think that I've done a good job at not having bad matchups.